Well, hello, this is Jeff Gaudiosi, and you're on misplacedstraws.com, where music comes to life. And my guest today is the guitarist for Collective Soul, one of my favorite bands ever. We last spoke about 2 years ago when the band released their record Vibrating. Well, they're back now with a double album called Here to Eternity, which comes out on May 17th, and they're celebrating their 30th anniversary, which makes me feel incredibly old. Please welcome Dean Roland. Welcome, Dean.
Hey Jeff, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. And so
I
let's
feel you.
start.
I feel you with that old comment. We've
Yeah,
had to do some reflection lately, and I'm like, good grief, yeah, been around for a minute.
yeah, just a bit. But let's start with Here to Eternity, the first double album in your long career. What led to the decision to put it out as a double rather than holding it for two separate releases?
Yeah, we've tossed the idea around for a long while, but never really consciously went in the studio and like, all right, let's go do
Hmm.
double record, right? We just, for whatever reason, I think partly we were recording this record at Elvis Presley's estate in Palm Springs, and I think part of it was like we wanted to get as much done while we had that opportunity, right? And we went in, started recording there. We hit our stride pretty quickly, and it just kept going. And we really did. Like we kind of didn't want it to end, to be honest. So we got as much out of it as we could, and we tossed the idea around over the years. And Ed's wanted the challenge of it himself. Um, and growing up a huge Elton fan, like Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, or the list goes on of great
Hmm.
double albums, White Album and Quadrophenia and whatever, so on. And yeah, it was a little bit of a little happy accident, to be honest.
Hmm. Well, and I wanted to talk to you about recording at Elvis's estate. I mean, as
Mhm.
far as I think, you guys are like the only band to ever do that. I mean, how did it come up, and did you just soak in the vibes of Elvis in the building?
Oh yeah, we did our best to take it in. We became friends just really uh, by coincidence with the guys who own the house. They bought it many years back, and no one's lived in the house in a long while. I think a couple of people had owned it after Elvis, but nothing had been changed. I mean, it's the same appliances, same bathroom tile, same of a lot of stuff, for better or for worse, from when Elvis was living there. And so when you go into the place, it's a little bit of a head trip. Like, okay, I mean, the dude was here. He recorded a couple of gospel albums in there, so he was the only person that we know of that actually recorded in the house, except for us now. So we really, we asked the dudes who own the house if they'd be into us just putting our studio gear in there and just taking it over for a little while. And they're like, yeah, sure. So we did it. We had been recording or filming a career spanning documentary leading into that, for the just getting archival footage and getting some stuff together over the past couple of years. So we just saw that as an opportunity. So we incorporated that into the film documentary. So it's like the recording of this double album along with the history of the band. And that film is in final phase mode, and that should come out this year. So we got a lot going on, celebrating the 30-year anniversary with a double record, a tour, and a film documentary coming out.
Definitely looking forward to the documentary. And with this record, it feels like a 30th anniversary record in that it almost plays like a musical greatest hits. And that you have the big riffs from the early days, with Shine and Where the River Flows. And you guys haven't really done that kind of thing recently. But then you
Yeah,
also have, the quirkiness of the band with, Sister and Mary, and the
right.
emotional pull of the band with Be the One. Did you guys, when you were putting this together, were you looking back at your journey over 30 years and just all of the musical areas that you've touched upon?
It's funny. I mean, the short answer is probably, but we don't we don't really go into when we record a record. It's not a very decisive thing of like we're going to go write a particular type of song. It just happens. A lot of times Ed will come in with a very clear cut idea of how he wants the song done, and a lot of the individual ideas of the song are kind of mapped out in his head or whatnot. A lot of times it's just whatever the creative spark, that little tiny thing, which could just be a guitar riff, or it could be a drum groove or a bass line or something, whatever it may be. And you build off that spark. And our philosophy with the band has always been to serve the song, right? And that's why we kind of the range of stuff, like you talk about the quirkiness of a Sister Mary, or the riff of Mother's Love, or even a riff type melodic song like a Bluer Than So Blue. Like it's one aspect of the band, but we don't really consciously go in and do it. It's just in that moment we seek out the honesty and serve the song.
Mm-hmm. It is the band's 30th anniversary. Well, the 30th anniversary of the major label debut version of
Right.
Hints. And that came out in March of 94. The first time I ever saw you guys was in May of 94 at Toad's
Oh,
Place here in Connecticut.
oh, right
It was a,
on.
it was a
Yeah.
99-cent show on a Monday night. I'll never forget the show. It was an amazing night.
I think that was the night we went on stage, and our drummer wasn't with us. We walked on stage and he hadn't gotten backstage yet, and we didn't realize it, and we had to start. We had to start over again. He was down the street with I think one of his girlfriends or something at the time, and he was still eating his pizza.
Yeah, well,
Still,
there was a pizza place right next to Toad's that was, the
that
place to
was
go.
it. That was it. So we walked on stage and we're like, where did? Oh God! So we walked off stage, reset it, and came back on. So it
Yeah.
happens.
Like I said, so the record's out in March. By May, you guys are asked to play the 25th anniversary of Woodstock. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
those of us that were around then, we remember just how groundbreaking Shine was at the time. It didn't sound like anything else. And you guys seemed to just come out of nowhere. Was that sort of sudden success of a record out in March and playing a Woodstock festival in August, did that kind of surprise you guys?
Oh my gosh! Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Ed had been working. Ed and I are 10 years apart in age, and he had been working for years, like rejection after rejection, like, and we put his allegations and things left unsaid together as a demo to get either a record deal or a pub deal, or just get any kind of traction we could. We didn't realize it was going to be the first album that the band releases, but we did. Excuse me, it did take a life of its own. And when we got signed, we went to Atlantic and we're like, can we like re-record this stuff? Because these are demos. And they were like, no, you got to go. There's too much momentum behind it. And, and you got to take advantage of it. So we knew that it was an opportunity. It didn't fully represent the band. And part of that, like you mentioned, groundbreaking, or however you want to describe it, a lot of it just sounded different because it had become a mainstream hit, and it was a demo, you know. So we knew that it was an opportunity given to us that we had been working for years to get, and that's when we just kind of took it and we didn't look back. We recorded the Blue record, which was essentially the band's first record recording together. And we recorded that as we were touring that first year. So a lot of the songs we were playing on that '94 tour, hence, were songs that were in the process of being written. Ed's up there singing the melody of the song and just kind of like making up lyrics as we went along. It wasn't even the final stuff. So all that was, it was pretty interesting times for us. I mean, we just didn't want to let the moment go, so we took advantage of it as we could.
Well, and that's why for the what is the second release, the Blue record, was there that pressure of we got to follow up a hit, or was it more no, this is our first real record as a band?
It was both.
Mhm.
But I tell you what, though, Jeff, we felt so confident in the way we were playing as a band, the songs, and we weren't arrogant about it, but we were humbly confident that we had found our groove. You know, we had been playing those songs, and most of them anyway. Some, you know, were coming along as they were being recorded. But we had the confidence, and we felt great about that. And obviously, you never know how, you know, if they connect or people react to them. But we knew we did have the pressure that we put on ourselves to do the best work, you know, that as we, you know, as we could. And we had that. We put it was what they call a bridge track. The song "Gel" off that record was on the Jerky Boys soundtrack, which Jerky Boys were huge at the time. And that song kind of connected us from the first record to the second, and then it went into December and World I Know, and you know, and the rest has been history.
And the discipline breakdown and dosage kind of continued the rise and success to the point where by the time 99 came and it was 30th anniversary of Woodstock, you guys are only one of 5 bands brought back.
Right.
Considering how quick music changes and how something could go in and out of favor so quickly, does it, you know, register that like, wow, we were one of only 5 that were asked to do both of these huge festivals?
I honestly, I didn't even know that. But that's cool. I mean, we've never been a band to really follow, for better or for worse, but we don't really follow trends. We're not good at that. We feel like we're good at what we do, and whatever range we have, we have. And we try to, you know, we experiment and push ourselves and try not to be repetitive or replicate what we've done in the past, and we just march forward. Uh, so yeah, I mean, and maybe that's part of the testament of the longevity that we've had. Um, so I don't really, I don't know. Like I take pride in it. I mean,
Mhm.
being one of the 5. I don't even know who else was it, but was there. But anyway, yeah, yeah,
Eh, Then between Blender and Youth, it was a real period of transition for the band. The first start of a couple of lineup changes,
yeah,
record label changes.
yeah.
At any point, did you guys feel like, okay, you know, this isn't going to work, let's go on to something else? Or was it always make the change, move forward?
I think we entered into whenever you have members leave, and you know, we've only, you know, fortunately we haven't had many. You know, we lost a couple of guys, our original founding members. You enter in, I think it's inevitable that you go into like a moment of self-doubt, or, you know, where do we go? What are we doing? What's this? And then you collect yourself and you march forward. I mean, you realize, and we've always taken the opportunity that we were given to be able to make music and share our purpose for, you know, a living. We get to make a living off of creating and playing music. We've taken that very serious. I mean, we've been idiots and complete morons at times and doing stupid rock and roll stuff, but fortunately, the majority of the time we've kept it in the road and stayed focused um, on the task at hand, which is us making the best music that we possibly can.
And kind of along those lines, one of the things that I've always really respected this band for is that you never went away. When you look back at your peers, and a lot of them have come back now, sort of years after the fact, as kind of nostalgia acts. But really, you guys in the Goo Goo Dolls are the only ones I could think of that literally never went away. You always sort of persevered, you had that consistent success. And you know, kind of along those lines, what's always pushed forward, you know, when other bands around you, your touring mates, things like that, have kind of come and gone, what's kept you guys there?
I think a lot of it has to do. I mean, it's probably a couple things. A lot of it has to do with the fact that we're so close. Like with Ed and I are brothers, so we grew up together, obviously, and then Will. No, I've known him, Ed and I both, since as long as I've known anyone, right?
Mhm.
His wife grew up literally across the street from us, so I've known his family, and we've known, it's just that bond is just has been there, and the fact that we love music is our, we believe it's our purpose, and we share that joy of making music and playing it, and I think that just keeps that bond together. Like any relationship, there's ups and downs, and there's peaks and valleys, and there's you know maybe second guessing here and there, needing a break and stepping out, but it really nothing ever to a point where it was like this, let's just call this thing, because we felt we still had a shared purpose, and a shared thing to keep going.
Now, you have a huge summer tour coming up with Hootie and the Blowfish and Edwin McCain.
Yeah.
And there are songs you guys have to play live. I think it was Billy Joel who said every show is somebody's first, so you have to play the hits.
Yeah.
But looking back over the 30 years of your career, anything unique or different that you're looking to do with this set that you haven't done in the past?
Well, we're not going to reinvent the wheel on this thing, but we try to, because we're not a band that does a whole lot of reflection. Like we do like the idea of like, let's keep going, let's stay creative, and keep looking for those creative sparks and see where it leads and go down that path. You're going through 30 years of music. I guess it's 12 or 13 now, studio albums and different configurations, and endless amounts of shows and tours. So Billy's right. I mean, every show is someone's first. So you got to find that balance, right? And there's older songs. We're going to play the hits because we love playing them too. It's fun. Every night's new, and you see it. Like we're at the place now where fans from early on are bringing their children, or that kind of thing is going on. So that makes it special. There's someone out there that's enjoying it for the first time. So we try to find that balance. So we're playing the hits. Then some of the older songs that we hadn't played in a while, we just try to mix it in there. And then you get to like, we just released, we're about to release 20 new songs that, so, and when you're sharing the stage on a tour like this, like with Hootie and Edwin, you're not getting to play all of them. I mean, that will come later. We do our own shows, but you just got to find that balance and try to first and foremost make ourselves happy and enjoy what the selection is, and you find the flow, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time to see what works and what doesn't work, but yeah, I mean, that's really about it. Like you throw in a cover song and we have fun with that too, like just to break it up. So that really is it.
If you had to pick a record, a song, or even just a time frame that best defines your vision of what Collective Soul is at its peak, what is it?
I would probably do it in two stages, like there's 2 acts. Hopefully there'll be 3, but and this I believe this is probably the beginning. The past couple records are the beginning of the 3rd act with Jesse Triplett and Johnny Rabb with us, and these have been the best years from a perspective, from the standpoint of just band chemistry, musically and personally, and the personality connection is like underrated when you're in a band. I mean, musical is huge, obviously, but the personal, you spend so much time with these other humans, and I mean, you're doing, call it, and 2 hours a night on stage, but you got 22 hours left in the day that you spend a majority, a lot of time with these other humans. So that has to work. But if you're talking about a musical high point for us, I believe it, for me, in the first iteration of the band, it's Dosage. That's the most collaborative. I feel like we were hitting like a high note, metaphorically speaking, all the way around. Things came a little unraveled after that, but that was like that that happens. But that record, and to be honest, I think this record is in the second iteration,
Yeah.
and yet to be determined like how commercially viable and that stuff. I don't know because you can't control it, so that's surrendered, and I don't whatever. But the short answer, sorry for being long-winded on that one, but it's Dosage and Here to Eternity.
And I agree. I love Dosage. And actually, for the vinyl lovers out there, the anniversary issue is coming out this record store day on April 20th. So
Yeah.
Definitely looking forward to grabbing a copy of that. But we've been spending some time here with Dean Roland of Collective Soul. The record is called Here to Eternity. It's great. It's a really strong record, top to bottom. It's out everywhere on May 17th. The tour starts this summer with Hootie and the Blowfish and Edwin McCain. I'll definitely be catching at least one of those shows.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you so much for taking some time here. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it, buddy. Nice chatting with you.
Yep, and we'll catch you on the road soon.
Yeah, man.
Thanks.